Let's look at lesson 5-1, ratios. Today we're going to be looking at something called ratios, and we're going to be able to use them to compare quantities. Now first, what is a ratio? Well, it's pretty simple. It's just a comparison between two amounts. Now let me give you an example. Let's look at this picture with fruits and vegetables. And let's look at the ratio of bananas to carrots. Now, you might be already counting. How many bananas are there in this picture? There's only one that I see. How many carrots are there? There's 1, 2, 3. So the ratio of bananas to carrots is 1 to 3. 1 banana to 3 carrots. Now you can also look at the ratio of apples to strawberries, or grapes to carrots if you want, and anything is fine. So this is just an example of ratio of bananas to carrots. It's 1 to 3. Let's also look at another example. I'm going to put this aside. Let's look at the flag of the US. And let's look at the ratio of red stripes to white stripes. Okay, so how many red stripes are there in our flag of the US? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there would be 7 to how many white stripes? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the ratio of red stripes to white stripes is 7 to 6. Now we don't always have to compare red stripes to white stripes. For example, we can look at red stripes to all stripes. Ratio of red stripes to all stripes. And I'm going to put this right here. There are 7 red stripes. And how many stripes total are there? There's 13. So the ratio of red stripes to all stripes is 7 to 13. So we can compare anything. Red stripes to white stripes to red stripes to number of stars, anything. There just has to be 2 amounts, 2 numbers. I'm going to put this away, and I'm also going to put this away. Okay, so let's go back and look at the ratio of bananas to carrots. I wrote it as 1 to 3. There's 3 different ways of writing a ratio, and this is the first way. The second way is to write it with a colon. It can also be written as so. Same with 7 to 6. 7 to 6 with a colon. There's one more way, and the last way is a fraction. We can write this as a fraction. This is 1, 2, 3. And it's red with the word 2 in between. So this would be 7 to 6. 3 ways of writing a ratio. 1 way, 2 ways, 3 ways. Okay, so what I want you to do right now is to think of your own example of ratio. Look around in your room, see if there's anything you can find a ratio of. If you can't, look at what you're wearing. How many stripes are on your shirt? How many red stripes? How many white stripes? And so on. And write this down in your notebook because I will be checking this. Okay, let's look at equivalent ratios. Now again, equivalent is another word for equal. So ratios that are equal. And here we have part of a piano. And let's look at the ratio of black keys to white keys. Let's count up the black keys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 10 black keys. How many white keys are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 black keys. And notice, I'm writing this as another way, the fraction way. We can write 10 black keys to 14 white keys. And equivalent ratios if you can remember, when we were looking at equivalent fractions, we were just multiplying and dividing the denominator and numerator by the same number. So we can just find a number, any number. I'm going to pick 2. We get 20 over 28. So the ratio 20 to 28 is an equivalent ratio. We can also choose to divide. Now let's look at our original again. 10 to 14. And I'm going to be writing 10 to 14. And I'm going to be dividing the numerator and denominator by the same number. What numbers go in 10 and 14? 2. This would be 5 to 7. Now these two are equivalent ratios to 10 and 14. Now you may notice that this is in simplest form. This is like our simplest form fraction. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about next. Ratios in simplest form. And this is exactly the same thing as fractions. So let's look at the ratios of girls to boys in a make-believe classroom. Let's say there are 9 girls to 15 boys. Now, how do you put this in simplest form? Well, let's first write this as a fraction. 9 girls to 15 boys. Let's put this fraction in simplest form. Divide by 3. Divide by 3. We get 3 over 5. We can't simplify anymore, so our ratio is just 3 girls to 5 boys. Or if you want to write the other way, 3 to 5. Now go ahead and take a look at this. $3 to 12 quarters. What is this ratio in simplest form? It is, if you just put it as a fraction, I'm going to be skipping that part. The answer should be 1 to 4. Now keep in mind, we can't switch the order of these. So 9 girls, 15 boys, we have to keep it in this order. 3 girls, 2 boys. We can't switch it and say boys, 2 girls. That would be incorrect. Let's move on. Let's compare ratios. And in this part, we're going to be answering the question, are these ratios equivalent? Are these ratios equal? So let's look at these two ratios. We have one ratio, 3 to 4, and the other ratio, 18 to 24. Now the way to do this is quite simple. Step 1, write it as a fraction. And step 2, reduce to simplest form. Reduce both of those ratios to simplest form. And so once we do that, if the two ratios are still equal, then they are equivalent ratios. So let's look at this. We have 3 to 4 and 18 to 24. Now, is 3 to 4 in simplest form? Yes, it is. We can't do anything to the numerator and denominator. Is 18 to 24 in simplest form? No, it's not. We can divide both numerator and denominator by 6. And we get, oh look, 3 to 4. Now both of these are now equal, so we call them equivalent. These are equivalent ratios. Let's look at another example. 6 to 7 and 30 to 36. Now let's use the same steps. First of all, write both of these as a fraction. This would be 6 to 7. This would be 30 to 36. Can we simplify this one? No, we can't. Can we simplify to this one? Yes, we can. This would be 5 to 6 in simplest form. Okay, let's look at these fractions. They're not the same. That means that these ratios are not equivalent. Equivalent. Sorry about that. I want you to look at these two ratios and pause here take a moment and try this. See if these two ratios are equivalent. I'll be revealing the answers in 3, 2, 1. And the answer is yes. If you can simplify both of these, they both simplify to 3 to 4. And that's it for today. So please reply to the quiz with a question. If you don't have any questions, respond to one of your classmates' questions, and of course take the short quiz. See you tomorrow.